Day 2 at Guadalupe Mountains National Park. I got here late yesterday and only did a handful of the smaller trails. McKittrick Canyon Nature Loop, the Permian Reef Geology Loop, the Pinery Trail at Pine Springs, and the Smith Spring Trail at Frijole Ranch. So some smaller trails, just get them out of the way. Today is the first big climb of the day. I'll be going up to Hunter Peak, and I'm taking the scenic route. This is the first split in the trail. That way is the peak. We'll do it later in the week. But for now, heading this way. Not even a tenth of a mile, and I've come to the next split in the trail. I'm going to be going that way, which is the Frijole Trail. I'm not going to stay on the Frijole Trail. I'm going to go the long way and go around the Foothills Trail just because I've never done it, and I'm trying to knock out all the trails in the park. So, longer way to Hunter Peak. Couldn't ask for a more beautiful day though. It is about 7:30 Mountain Time. I'll get an earlier start tomorrow because I've got some other big hikes planned while I'm out here. But here's what we're looking at. You might be able in the center of the shot to make out the top of an RV. That's the Pine Springs campground over there. And that is not Guadalupe Peak, but you can see the trails of the Guadalupe, the switchbacks of the Guadalupe Peak Trail going up it. You got a great view of Pine Springs all the way to that bend right there, and then you're on the backside and no more Pine Springs. Then you realize how far you really have to go. Not a hard hike though, it's just exposed for the first half of it. Alright, beautiful blue sky. Nice defined trail. This boogie. Right over there through the trees, you may be able to make out the top of the Pine Springs Visitor Center. This is looking, I'm still on the Frijole Trail. This is looking back the direction I just came from. And up there is where I'm finally going to be going. But again, taking the scenic route because why not? I only saw one deer yesterday, and so far this morning I've seen one mule deer pop up out of the brush when I walked by. He was, or she was so fast that I didn't even have time to get the camera out. But should see some more. This is a less traveled trail. I think 99% of the people that come to the park only do the peak, and there's so much more to offer. Yesterday was Smith Spring, and like I said, I got here so late that I didn't really have time to, I didn't have time to take my time. So I didn't really do any video or anything like that. I recorded my track, but yeah, Smith Spring was really beautiful. I'm surprised more people don't know about it. All Trail says the Smith Spring Trail is easy. I would say it was moderate, because it is uphill both ways. No matter which way you go around the loop, you will be going uphill. The spring is at the very top of the trail. But yeah, beautiful trail. Lots of places I'd like to come back at night and get some astrophotography pictures. And dead quiet. Of course, as soon as I put up the camera, I come to the next split in the trail. The Frijole Trail continues to the left. The Foothills Trail goes to the right. I'm going to take the Foothills Trail because why not? This is new territory. Never been on this trail before. It stays in the lowlands and it gets pretty close to the highway, so there may be a little bit of traffic noise, but I'm about half deaf anyway. The sights are what I'm here for. And being less traveled, hopefully I'll see some wildlife. So far the Foothills Trail has been really neat. If you hadn't looked at a map and just were out here, you would think you're in the middle of nowhere. But over there is Bear Canyon. I'll be going up it later. That's one of the hardest trails in the park in my opinion. And this is the direction I just came from, looking back towards actually the peak will be over behind there, and I'm not sure if that's Shumard. I think that's Shumard Peak there in the distance. But anyway, yeah, this is the way I came from. Really pretty trail. You feel very secluded, even though just on the other side of this little rise is, you can see Pine Springs. And we continue going this way. Right through this brush is Highway 62/180. So yeah, you feel very secluded, but you're actually really close to a lot of stuff. Really pretty trail though. Really easy so far. But looking at the topo, I don't think there's anything really on this trail that would be considered even moderate. Okay, there's the direction I came from. You can get a really good view of the switchbacks going up the Guadalupe Peak Trail. But I'm finally out far enough to the side where I can see El Cap peeking around the corner. And the trail is getting closer to the road. There across the street, you can see, I'm not sure what those are. They're governmental buildings. I'm not sure if they're DOT or if they're National Park Service. I want to say those buildings over here are the housing for the Park Service, but I'm not 100%, so I'm not gonna speculate on that any further. But yeah, we're really close to the highway. I'm starting to hear a little bit of traffic noise, but it's not too bad. A lot of times I think it's just the wind, because it is the Guads. There's a lot of wind. Hope the wind's not too bad. It's picked up now that I'm out here in kind of the flats, but you can see El Cap there on the right and the highway right here in front of me. Really, really close to the highway. There's those buildings I was talking about before. But I'm almost to the end of the Foothills Trail, or at least it feels like I am, because there's Nipple Hill in the center of the shot. That's Frijole Ridge, and I'm pretty sure that peak right there in the middle, I'll try to note it. I'm pretty sure that's Frijole Peak, which is not one of the top 10 in Texas, but it is still over 8,000 feet. I'll put the elevation in the video. But I'm going to come around to the base of that ridge on the Frijole Trail, and then right there in the center of the shot is Bear Canyon. I'm going to start going up it. The good thing about it is a lot of it's in the shade. The bad thing about it is an extremely steep trail, but I'm already ready to get out of the sun. It's still early and the sun's already beating down, so I'm going to boogie over there and get in the shade. Again, I apologize if the wind noise is bad. Once again, as soon as I put up the camera, I come to another item. Here's the next split in the trail. I want to continue on the Foothills Trail. This trail to the corrals goes over to that little building right there in the center of the shot. That is a restroom, a public restroom, and that's where you can camp if you have horses. There's a corral over there. Actually, the first time I ever came to Guadalupe Mountains, we stayed over there because Pine Springs was full. They no longer allow you to do that because, well, bad actors have caused trouble for everybody else. So, yep, once Pine Springs is full, you're pretty screwed. But once again, there's Nipple Hill. I'm going to continue on the Foothills Trail. And there's another shot of Frijole Peak. Man, that's cool. I bet the view up there is amazing. First wildlife of the trip. A little tarantula. Pretty cool. Oh, he's got him something. He's got a beetle or something. Got him some dinner. Awesome. First it was a tarantula, now it's a snake. This isn't a venomous snake. I want to give him a wide berth though. He didn't like me. He didn't like me being this close to him. But cool. First a tarantula, then a snake. See him puff up. As soon as I stood up, he started like, whoa, wait a minute, fella. Hey, little guy. About 3 feet long. I think that's a gopher snake. I'll look it up when I get home. And he is right here. By the little picnic area at Frijole Ranch. Cool. And right after I saw that little snake, I ran across this sign, Foothills Trail that way. Well, that's the way I came from. So I'm going to continue until I reach the Frijole Trail, which shouldn't be much further. I came through here yesterday when I did the Smith Spring Loop. Big Texas madrone in the middle of the shot. Down in that creek bed. Guess it gets a little bit more water down there. Okay, hopefully the wind's not too bad, but I've reached the Frijole Trail again, so I'm going to cut over towards Bear Canyon. That's the way I went yesterday to Smith Spring. Again, I can't highly recommend it enough. It was a really cool hike. But here's the way I came from. And out towards El Capitan. And this is the way I'm going. This is the Frijole Trail heading towards Bear Canyon from Frijole Ranch. Look at that view. And I'm just starting up. Frijole Ranch down there, you can see the little shade pavilions. Over there's Nipple Hill. Miles and miles of nothing but miles and miles. You can just barely see El Cap peeking around the corner. All right, onward. Okay, that is the Frijole Trail coming from Frijole Ranch. You may be able to catch Nipple Hill over there just peeking out around the corner. But Frijole Trail, I'm now at the intersection of Bear Canyon. So I'm going to be going that way all the way up there. And then once I'm done up there, I'll come back down Bear Canyon and come through here back on out there. I need to stop and take a break. Yeah, once I come back down Bear Canyon, like I say, here's the sign. There's the canyon right there. I just came from this direction, the Frijole Trail, and I will take the Frijole Trail here back to Pine Springs. So all that down in the valley is what I did this morning. Well, it's not even really the valley, down in the low country. All right, no time like the present. It took me right at, let's look at the watch. Right at 2 hours and 20 minutes to do all of the foothills in the Frijole Trail. And that's with stopping to take pictures and video and all of that. So I'm going to get up Bear Canyon a little ways, find a shady spot, take a break and eat some breakfast. Let's boogie. This is the view from the top of the first big switchback coming up from the Frijole Trail, climbing up Bear Canyon. You can see the Pine Springs Visitor Center down there. There's actually some cars in the parking lot. There's the highway. And the path I took came right along this wash. Let's see if I can, yeah, right along this wash. All the way around. Right in there you can see a car coming into Frijole Ranch. And then around, and down there's the buildings for the Frijole Ranch Visitor Center. Well, it's not really a visitor center, it's a cultural museum. I can see Nipple Hill, and I can even see the Manzanita Spring down there, the pool of water, which is really crazy. You're in the middle of the desert and there's this beautiful pool of just the clearest spring water. Anyway, this is the top of the first switchback. I'm just now getting started, really. See if I can see down where the trail intersection is. And I don't want to walk that far back down, but you can see the Frijole Trail down there. There it is, right there in the center. Yeah, right there in the center of the shot is the trail intersection. You might be able to make out the little pole, and then the trail goes back around and out of sight. But this is the view from the top of that first switchback. It gets better the higher up you get, but it's already pretty impressive. All right, let's keep a climbing. Still climbing Bear Canyon. I just crossed over from the west side of the Canyon Trail over to the east side, right down here in this wash. Views keep getting better. But the climb hasn't slacked off at all. Whew. Onward to some shade. Okay, first time to stop and take a real break, eat a little bite. My GPS puts it at 2 hours 54 minutes. I've gone 4.79 miles. So almost 3 hours. It is now, let's see, 10:20. So time to take a break, get a little breakfast. Found a nice shady spot over here under this overhang. So get over here out of the sun and eat a little bite, drink some water, take a little break. The buzzards are circling. I don't know if that's a good omen, but it doesn't seem like it is. It'll be fine. I've done Bear Canyon before. I did it before and I said one and done, but I'm never one to step away from a challenge. All right, talk to you again momentarily. Made it to the first real shady section of the Bear Canyon Trail. Just right after that spot where I stopped and took a break. It's almost cool in the shade. But this is your view. These cool pour-offs. But the trail continues up. And this is looking back down the canyon. Still climbing Bear Canyon. Kicking my butt as it always does. I've got about 500 foot more of elevation till I'm at the top. But Like I say, it's always worth it. It's type 2 fun. It kicks your butt while you're doing it, and then when you're done, you look back on it and go, you know what? That was pretty awesome. Haven't seen anybody else on the trail so far. It's about 11:45. I'm hoping to be to the top about 12:15. We'll see how that goes. I've got plenty of time. The sun doesn't go down till 7:45, so got tons of time. Get to the top and decide what I want to do. But for now, this is my view. Well, I cussed every step of the way, but once again made it to the top of Bear Canyon. As usual, it took longer than I expected, but only by about 30 minutes. But still got plenty of daylight, so I'm going to head that way and do the Bowl Trail. So let's get going. This is the view down into Bear Canyon from off the Bowl Trail, just a few feet from the sign. And this is all new to me. I've never done the Bowl before, so let's check it out. There's one of the old water tanks from when all of this was used for ranching back in the day. I don't know if they pumped water up here or collected water here and dropped it via that pipe down to the ranch house. I'm not sure which way the water went. But that's what that pipe coming up Bear Canyon is. It comes up here to this tank. Ooh, I wish that thing was full of water. Check out the size of this pine. I don't know if this is ponderosa pine or what. I'm no botanist, but it's as big as the ones back home in East Texas. And here I am in the middle of the freaking desert, and you climb up to the Sky Islands and boom, pine trees. I'm telling you, you walk through here, and if you didn't know any better, you'd think you were in Colorado. Definitely much different than all the down the low country trails. Once you get up here in the high country, it's a totally different world. I'll have to look on my topo, but that might be Mount Pratt, point 8342, which is one of the top 10 highest peaks in Texas. I'm not sure if it is 100%. Like I said, I have to look on my topo and find out. There's no trail going over there. It's a bushwhack the whole way. But the top 10 is on my list, so we'll see. Like I say, it's definitely one I want to check out. This is the next trail intersection, the Bowl and the Juniper Trail. I'm going to continue on the Bowl back over towards Hunter Peak. I'd like to check out Hunter Peak today. So, onward through the forest. Much easier than coming up Bear Canyon. Lots of shade and plenty of places to stop and take a break. This is a freaking massive pine tree. Like I said, I don't know if this is a ponderosa pine, but it is fat. Like I say, the ones at home are much taller, but they're not nearly as big around. This thing is huge. Pretty cool. Here's part of the views along the Bowl Trail. It's amazing to think we're in the middle of the damn desert, except we're up around 7,900 feet. I've reached the intersection of where the Bowl Trail heads over towards Hunter Peak. So I'm going to run over to Hunter Peak real quick. And since I've got so much time left in the day, after I do the peak, I think I'm going to come back this way, go that way towards Tejas, and then do the Tejas Trail north to the Juniper Trail and do it. And then come back up the Bowl Trail to Bear Canyon and head back down. I think that's a good plan. Let's go check out Hunter Peak. There's Guadalupe Peak over there. Highest point in Texas, 8751. Good shot of the switchbacks coming up the first part of the trail. And I don't know if it'll show up on the video, but I can see the switchbacks going up to the top. And that is Shumard or Bartlett. I can't remember the order they go. They go Guadalupe, Shumard, Bartlett, Bush. And I can't remember if it's Bartlett, Shumard, or Shumard, Bartlett. I can't remember. But those are the I want to say the four highest peaks in Texas. And Hunter Peak is on the list in the top 10. I'm not sure what it ranks, but it's up there another couple hundred feet. Here's an even better view. Guadalupe Peak, Shumard or Bartlett, those two right there in the middle, and then Bush is over here behind the tree. I'll knock those bad boys out one day. Through the trees there is Guadalupe Peak. Right up here, maybe a 1/10 of a mile, is Hunter Peak. And this is the Bowl Trail. It continues that way. I just came from this direction. There's even a little sign to let you know Hunter Peak. Let's go check it out. Made it up to Hunter Peak and actually saw another hiker. He was a knucklehead and went up Bear Canyon just like I did, so 2 gluttons for punishment. But he noted that over on the Dog Canyon side of the park there's a fire, and apparently it's getting bigger. So I don't have any cell service, or I'd call the visitor center and make sure they're aware of it. But yeah, see if I can trace out my route I took today. Way down there is the Pine Springs campground. That's where I started. And I went along that wash right there by the highway over to that road to right about there. That's the Foothills, the Frijole Ranch. It's Frijole Ranch and Foothills Trail Junction right there at the Frijole Ranch Cultural Center. Then I took Frijole around, and on the other side of this is Bear Canyon, down through the bowl. On the other side of the ridge from this fire, which is kind of concerning still, and then up here to Hunter Peak. And like I say, I'm going back down the way I came, just so I can finish every bit of the Frijole Trail. And then tomorrow I will come up Tejas and do some more trails up here, but I'll come up via Tejas. Making my way back down the bowl trail back to Bear Canyon. Yeah, I'm curious to get back to get back to civilization. By the time I get back, the visitor center will be closed. But I'm curious to find out what's going on with that fire and how that's going to affect my plans for the rest of the week. Because if they close the trails on the north side of the park, well, there goes my plans. So we'll see. But wouldn't know we were in Texas if I didn't tell you, would you? Such a cool spot. All right, made it back from the top of Bear Canyon to the bottom of Bear Canyon in less than an hour, 52 minutes. So now I've got like a mile and a half back along the Frijole Trail back to Pine Springs. And it couldn't get here soon enough because I am out of water. Whew. Whew. Time to go. And there's the sign for the Foothills and Frijole Trail intersection. So we're back where we started this morning. Like 4/10 of a mile or something back to the car. Fun hike. Didn't get to do everything I thought I was going to get to do because I didn't bring enough water. Plus, I'm kind of concerned about that fire over on the north side of the park. I was originally planning to do a section of the Tejas Trail further into the center of the park, but that looks like where that fire might be. But anyway, hike's basically done for the day. I'll check in with you when I get back to the car.